One of the biggest misconceptions out there is that great artists don't make mistakes. That part of becoming really good at drawing and art and illustration and perfecting your craft is that we become perfect. That there is some high level of accuracy and we just simply cease to make mistakes. And that's actually what makes someone great. But what if I told you that not only do great artists make a lot of mistakes, but they probably make more mistakes than beginners and intermediate artists, and it's often our relationship to those mistakes that allows us to create the art that we actually want. Alright, welcome to the Drawing Codex. My name is Tim McBurney. I have been a professional working artist for over 20 years, and on this channel we're all about drawing cool stuff from our imagination, embracing the challenge of drawing, and mastering the craft of line and color illustration. Now, if you'd like to learn more about illustration and picture making, you can check out my free illustration mini workshop. It charts my journey going from an amateur to a professional, and I talk a lot about really important issues such as how to get more detail and polish in your work, how to plan your images, create thumbnails, and also a few thoughts on how to approach being a professional artist. As I said, it's free. The link will be in the description. Go check it out if that's something you're interested in. It's worth talking about this because I feel like if we're constantly striving for perfection and to get everything right the first time, and we're imagining that amazing artists don't make mistakes and that they don't struggle with their work, then it's easy to kind of go down the wrong path, to start barking up the wrong tree, or whatever your kind of metaphor or aphorism is. That fundamentally, if we think that the game is about perfection, we're kind of missing what it means to be an artist. This is something that I remember really kind of holding me back early on. I would see great art books. I would see a lot of people's process shots, how they went from their sketch to their finished work, the process that they went through, and even people's kind of sketchy work seemed really polished. It seemed way more polished than mine and way better than anything that I could do. And I didn't really see those kind of failed drawings anywhere that I was certainly experiencing. And not just this, but when you go looking for like how to draw books, you're also going to see like a really curated set of sketchy drawings. Like even the preparatory steps that you're kind of shown in a book such as Figure Drawing for All It's Worth, even the sketches that you're kind of told to do are really nice. Like they're amazing. They're kind of perfect in many ways. And so I would kind of really view that anytime I made a mistake, that I was kind of off the path, right? That this was some complete failing of mine. And look, there is a difference between an amateur's sketches and a professional sketches. And we all kind of admire great artists' kind of sketchy works. And some people, again, seem to really never do too wrong when they put pencil to paper. But I think there's a lot more to it, and I'm going to unpack exactly what's happening there and why I think it's really critical to understand that part of getting better is not just not making mistakes, and it's not about perfection. It's also a matter of easily fixing mistakes as you progress and understanding that that's okay and having a different relationship to it. I would say in most cases, the difference between me 20 years ago when I was struggling like tooth and nail to try and figure this out and failing way more often than I didn't to draw something good, and me now, is that I have a lot more fun now. Partly because I'm better at drawing, but also because I've fixed a lot of these mistakes before. I've been there, I've done that. And when things go bad, instead of freaking out, tightening up, and ruining everything, I actually know what to do. And also, when things start not to work, I notice it earlier on. And it's often these differences and the way we relate to mistakes that make all the difference. So let's try and unpack this a little bit more and see whether we can get some tips and ideas for how to relate to the mistakes that we inevitably need to make as artists. So firstly, it's worthwhile mentioning the tutorial and demonstration aspect of this, because I think this is often where we first come across this idea of kind of seeing artists go through the process of making art, and it kind of often seeming very clean and perfect. And this often happens, as I said, in art books, right? There's that classic joke that you kind of have with a lot of those old school sort of art, how-to art books that were written for basically children, where, you kind of have a rough version, which is like, figure out the big shapes here, and then figure out the second shapes here, and then just kind of add detail. And the drawing tends to jump from being this kind of like blobby, geometric bunch of circles to being like a finished drawing. And that's literally because in most cases the way that they're doing that is they're taking a finished drawing and then they're just tracing circles over it. And frequently that is not really even how a lot of those artists actually make stuff. They just kind of do it because that's what has been in art books all the time. I've literally heard of people having to trace finished drawings and kind of work backwards. So you're often seeing kind of fake steps if you're looking at really low quality books. If you're looking at high quality books like Figure Drawing for All It's Worth by Andrew Loomis, you're going to be seeing what is a really nicely created book, but a curated book. If you look at I'd Love to Draw, which is also by Andrew Loomis, this is posthumously, after he died, sort of published. And this is a lot of preparatory drawings. And you can see preparatory drawings there for the types of pages that you would see in a drawing book. So even when someone is preparing the sketches that will go in a how-to book, they're often preparing sketches before that. They are making mistakes, they're making errors, they're throwing things away, things don't work. Often part of illustration and finishing images is putting our best foot forward, and that goes all the way to how artists make art books, right? You would expect this. Artists are very good at iteration, so great artists are going to present their best foot forward when they show you tutorials, especially in books. Now, the other thing that you kind of see, and this has really kind of struck me, is I went looking for demonstrations on DVD, like video tutorials, as soon as I could. This was amazing. Like right now, yeah, you can see me go from start to finish on this channel, fully narrated. And I really try and do this in a way that I show you the warts and all. That's something that I really believe in because I think it's important to see someone fail. But often demos are done in someone's comfort zone. So when you see an artist really do a good job at doing a video tutorial, they're often giving you the edited version. They may have tried a couple of those things before. And certainly back in the day when I was kind of literally buying DVDs in the mail, getting them shipped before there was any such thing as YouTube, I would see these kind of perfect demonstrations where it felt like people kind of really had it sorted out. But, before people get to that stage, they've kind of practiced those demos many, many times. A lot of artists who are really good at teaching have spent a lot of time practicing. Like by the time you get to see them in a DVD, like on YouTube, by the time you're actually noticing people, they've had a lot of practice. They figured out what works, what doesn't, what's likely to get them into trouble. I often kind of talk about how I'm very wary of going into hand purgatory because it's really easy, especially when you're doing a demo, to kind of start trying to redraw a hand to get it perfect and then just kind of ending up in a fugue state 3 hours later, drawing that hand 100 times, and it just kind of keeps failing. There's a lot of these traps that you kind of fall into. So when we do demonstrations, typically what we're trying to do is respect people's time. If people are coming to a university lecture, coming to a live workshop, you want to kind of give them the best of that time that they're spending there. So you kind of demonstrate the technique and the skills, and you're going to really show people like how to do it. But the reality is when people are experimenting, when people are learning, when people themselves are actually kind of making their art, they're often going to be making far more mistakes, taking far more risks. Things often won't work as nicely, it won't go as cleanly, and that's a really important thing to understand. I kind of grew up just having a fairly kind of fluid process, and the first time I had to do a live demonstration in front of a giant room full of people, it was terrifying, and I kind of really realized that, I needed to have this stuff better organized. I needed to figure out where I was going, because when you have a demo go wrong, it's very, very stressful. So that is to say that often when you're seeing tutorials, especially these days on YouTube where people are literally editing themselves, you could easily be seeing the second or the third iteration of that demonstration, and we're not seeing the mistakes. We're not seeing where someone just fully goes flying into a brick wall and it all kind of comes crashing down and nothing kind of works. It's the same for art books. It's the same for everything. Fundamentally, even when you're looking at like how art should be made and you're going looking for the most raw version of that, you're going to be seeing something that is sanitized of mistakes. Yet, I can guarantee you that all those artists do make a lot of mistakes and they experiment and they play around, and often they create images that kind of fail. They're just probably not going to put that in an art book, and we're not going to risk wasting everyone's time while we're doing a demo. So if we look at typically the things that are going to improve as you get better, firstly, what's going to happen is as you make mistakes, because you've been there before, it's just going to be less stressful. And this is such an important part of this process. Understanding that there's a difference between making a mistake and just easily going, oh, that's wrong. Like I've drawn that anatomy wrong. I've drawn the relationship between the eyes wrong. This isn't lined up properly. I've drawn the proportions off here. This composition doesn't quite work as I was imagining. The balance is off. I've got the wrong colors here. I don't know where my horizon line is. Like you kind of will notice that you've made a mistake and you just kind of fix it. And the difference between me like encountering that kind of challenge 20 years ago versus now is not necessarily that I do anything different. It's just that, yeah, I spot it and now I just easily change it. And it just you don't even notice really that it's a mistake has been made. And that's the critical thing to understand is that artists are always course correcting. We're always tweaking, adjusting, looking at what could be improved, what could be tweaked. And sometimes it's not a matter of like right or wrong. It's like better or worse, or like A or B, or light or dark, or this feeling versus this feeling. We're constantly changing, tweaking, morphing, looking, assessing, and trying to figure out how to make our work better. That's a big part of what art is. You look at a blank page and you try and improve it. You try and make it better. You try and fix it. You try and change it. This is the mistake. The mistake this page has, there's nothing on it. I put a mark down and I'm like, well, that's not quite right. Let me change it. So we're constantly trying to do this. And what changes, as I said, is not necessarily that, we don't make the mistake in the beginning. It's that we easily spot it and we easily change it and not a lot of stress is had. Whereas previously, what would typically happen, for me anyway, and what I sort of notice is people will kind of make a few mistakes, and this is the critical thing, is you won't notice you've made them. So then we start to build mistakes upon mistakes. And if you can think of it as like a stack, right? If you make a mistake down here and then you build really good decisions on top of it, you're kind of building on shaky foundations. And it doesn't matter how many good decisions you make, if down at the bottom there's a fundamental error somewhere of proportion or whatever, then yeah, the whole thing is never going to work. And you're probably going to need to scrub it all off and kind of start again. So that's often what's happening, is when you look at someone who's really good, you're just looking at them deftly changing and adjusting and tweaking and going with the flow with happy accidents. And because you don't know what's going on in their mind, it kind of feels as if everything's kind of smooth and chill. But when we do it in the beginning, it's like chaos, pain, misery, because, things are just kind of not working. You're not sure why. Where did I make the mistake? So that's like a big thing that changes. It's not that we don't make the mistake. It's that we get better at spotting it. We get more experience. Now, the trick here is that there's no way to really get good at fixing those mistakes unless you make them in the first place, because that's where you learn to just quickly change this, move this, fix this, and move on. The last thing that I want to talk about is that obviously a big part of what makes an artist have a good sense of skill and technique is, again, it's not that we're not making mistakes. It's that we spot mistakes early on and we build processes and systems to make sure that we kind of set things up. So a lot of what you'll hear great artists talk about incessantly in the beginning of their painting is like, I'm just focusing on the big shapes. I'm just thinking about the proportion. I'm just trying to make sure the big things are okay. And people will often, draw quite faint. We're kind of like leading up to the image. We are kind of chipping away at it, coming at it from different perspectives. What we're not doing is like drawing, the entire head and face before we kind of figured out where everything else gets placed as a general rule. We're often systematically going through, adjusting proportion, and thinking about all the key ideas. So if you want some tips about like how to kind of make less mistakes, a lot of it comes down to simply spotting and seeing these things coming. And this is where making sure you stay light if you're drawing, that you focus on the large shapes, that you have a process where you break it down, start with a thumbnail, make your compositional mistakes and decisions and experiments early on, then think about, okay, I know where things should go. I can't make any mistakes there because I've solved all the compositional problems. Then let me actually draw this thing out and make all the mistakes and challenges to do with actually drawing and getting everything looking right. Sort of progressively stepping through the image, constantly having in your mind, where's my horizon line? Where's my light source? What is going on in this image? Like, what is this image about? Having those kind of high level things there and constantly saying, do I have my anatomical proportions right? Is this symmetrical? Remembering to kind of flip or like view your image through a mirror so you can kind of look at it and spot mistakes there. Basically, everything comes down to an artist just getting better at stepping through the process a little bit better and sort of starting with the right things. And it's often this that will actually make the difference. Now, with that said, like certainly the better you get at drawing, right? Like the nicer your lines are, the more perfect everything is. But if you fundamentally think that the goal is to be perfect and to never make mistakes and to kind of, remove yourself from the challenge and the immersion with the art, then you're probably going to be missing the boat here, because there is a certain degree to where you have to be part of this creative process. You have to experiment. You have to put yourself into the image, and you have to be willing to constantly say, is this right? Could I change this? We need to not get too attached to what's there. We need to be able to erase, redo, tweak, modify, change, because that's how ultimately we're going to get to the best image possible. Anyway, that's all we got time for in this particular video. Let me know whether this helped you think through the concept of perfection versus mistakes. Just a short one, but I wanted to bring this idea here because I know a lot of people tighten up because they're chasing perfection. And it often means that we get a little bit stiff. We're trying to make every line exactly right. And we often lose that connection and fluidity that actually allows people to connect to our work in the first place. So yeah, let me know whether this has been something you've sort of been contemplating or has tripped you up in the past. Now, if you do want to see me create an image from start to finish, warts and all, with a number of little mistakes and errors here and there, check out this video because it goes through me creating this illustration from start to finish, fully narrated, real time. Other than that, we'll catch you around. Happy drawing.